Today we are back in the shop working, and this video is going to be quite a large project. We are working on Ryan's XJ, which you've seen on the channel a little bit. It's not stock, but it's going to be a lot less stock very shortly. It's a 1999 Jeep Cherokee XJ, as many people know them. 32-inch tires. It's got a 4.5-inch lift. We're going up 2 inches, long arm kit, whole bunch of stuff. So it's going to be a totally different animal, hopefully by the end of this week. So this is what we're working with. Nice clean unit. How long have you had it?
I bought it in 2022.
2022, okay.
So
yep.
3 years.
Long enough. She's ready for some upgrades.
Yep.
So yeah, it's thankfully a pretty clean unit. There's, I would call it no rust. It is unibody, so that's one of the things we're gonna change, or at least stiffen up. We've got a pile of parts inside from Iron Rock Offroad that are going onto this thing, so huge shout out to them for giving us a good deal on those. It's gonna take this thing from pretty mild to pretty wild, and we're excited. So we'll give you a quick walk/wheel around what it looks like now, do a quick little flex test because it's going from very short arm to long arms, so there's gonna be a big difference there, and we're very excited to see it. All right, let's grab the skiddy and grab a front tire first. So for you guys that have been watching the channel for a bit, you know that we did similar to Denny's LJ. I will link that video in the description if you want to go check out that build. This one's slightly different because we have, it's not a bolt-on kit from Iron Rock, but all the engineering's done, all the guesswork is taken out of it. There's instructions, you know exactly where to put it. So that is going to be a lot easier. I am looking forward to that, and it's going to save, honestly, days of work with figuring out the geometry and everything. So that's going to be a big difference. So we'll go until the rear just barely lifts off the ground. Starting to turn there, so that's about it. We'll give that a measure. Just a bit more than 18 inches. All right, the back, we're coming in a little higher. Charlie, you're not helping, buddy. Call that 22 inches. All right, we got the flex numbers. We've seen all we need to see beforehand. We're gonna pull this sucker in and start tearing it apart. Yes, before we pull it in, let's have a look at the pile of Iron Rock Offroad goods. I guess first, front and center, most obvious is the giant front axle truss. So incorporates the coils right around the diff, other coil, and there's also some gussets for the C's. So that is one heavy duty piece. Coil springs, I believe they are 6.5-inch lift coils. And then over here, which is the first big project. These are their unibody stiffeners. So they're all set up, cut out, as you can see, to just fit right on there. No guesswork, clamp them in, weld them on. Those are gonna be a huge difference for just stiffening everything up. Everyone knows what a leaf spring is. We're sticking with the leafs in the rear for now because they're simple. So those are a lift leaf spring, which supposedly ride pretty good. Got the control arms there, which the instructions are all there for exact length, so you can bolt them right in. And over here, a box of shocks, went with the Bilsteins. And then a whole bunch of what?
Odds
brackets,
brake lines,
brake line extensions, shackles,
Iron Rock boomerang shackles,
help out Charlie,
flex joints.
Where's the, oh, that's the cross member there for the transmission.
Yeah.
So we'll,
And we got the
links will go right onto that. That'll be nice.
These are part of it. The links go right onto those pieces in there.
So Iron Rock stuff is kind of builder parts / lift kit. So there's some stuff, some assembly required. There's going to be lots of welding, going to be grinding, but they make it easy with everything just being plug and play. Like, it's notched where it needs to go, the instructions for exactly where it goes on the frame. That's going to save a lot of time and be very nice. All right, now it's time to pull this sucker in. That's gonna be her resting spot for the next few days at least. It's the next day. Yesterday was definitely not a full day. We started quite late in the day, so only got a couple hours worth of work done, which wasn't overly exciting. Ryan was just pulling the carpets out. You only need to pull them back a little bit because welding on the unibody will light the carpet on fire. But he got into it, decided to pull them all out because he wants to do sound deadening stuff on the floor. So now's the time to do it. So carpets are out, and now we are trying to figure out a way to get the Jeep in the air without lifting on the unibody frame rails because we need to work on those. So trying to grab the pinch weld, figure out a way to do that it can just set it, forget it. We'll get this thing up in the air and actually start working. The last time you're gonna see it like this, going up on the lift. All right, so basically what we're going to do now is, well, I'm gonna get the tires off. Ryan is working on taking the winch and the front bumper off. And then after that, we're basically just gonna work front to back, taking everything out. So all the control arms, coils, shocks, axles out, front and rear, leaf springs, everything down to bare frame. So that's gonna be our next few hours. Well, apparently the time lapse decided to stop, but we got the front axle out and we're not gonna do a step-by-step on removing all this stuff anyways, because there's a million videos out there for that and it's just unbolting stuff and taking it off. So axle's over there, front one's out. Ryan's taking off all the extra junk with it, and then we'll get the back axle out of there. Well guys, that is going to do it for day, I'm gonna call it day one. We got both axles stripped out, well, not all the brackets, but hitch off, front bumper and winch off, rear bumper off, bunch of little doodads under there. So tomorrow is gonna be a big day of stripping or cutting the brackets off, cutting stuff off the axle. Yeah, a lot of cutting and grinding and prepping the surfaces for the stiffeners. So we will see you just like this. We've pretty much got everything stripped off, all the axles and junk over there. Now the tricky part is getting the lift arms off of the frame. So this is a pretty unique thing. The next step is going to be prepping and putting on the unibody stiffeners. So we need all of the unibody frame rails exposed because we got the front to back kit from Iron Rock. So we have to set it down on jack stands, which we just did. Now we have to move the lift arms out, and we're gonna try and grab the pinch weld, lift off that so that the frame rails are completely exposed for us to strip down and prep for welding. I'm gonna cut the brackets off while Ryan's doing that. So we're swapping it over now, moving the arms out, and then it's going to be prep time today. So that's what I'm saying. That's the frame rail all the way back. Currently we were sitting on the lower control arm mount and the rear spring hanger. So we have to move it out to the pinch weld so we have full access to that, because that mount there will not exist by the end of the day. The frame up here is actually pretty easy, but back there, even right there, you can see there's some undercoating. So Ryan's gonna get started on that, and then we have to remove all these factory short arm control arm mounts, because the new ones will get installed way back there by the cross member, which we've also got a cross member in the kit. So I'm gonna start taking these off. Ryan's gonna start cleaning. It's gonna be a good looking frame soon. Well, that is going to wrap up day number 2. Day number 2 was kind of the one we were dreading because it's dirty, cutting that stuff off, grinding the frame, all that. So we didn't quite get done. There was a few distractions today, but tomorrow we'll finish that stuff up and then we'll be back to the fun stuff, putting stuff back on. Good morning, everybody. We are back working on the XJ, of course, same video. Today, Ryan is going to finish cleaning the frame off, get it all prepped. I've got one more little bracket on the front to cut off, and then I'm gonna start working on the axles. So the rear axle, pretty straightforward. Just gotta pop the old leaves off and slap the new ones on. The front, however, is going to be some work. So factory, they come 4-link. So 2 lower control arms over there, 2 uppers. We are going to be removing that bracket and only using that one. However, we have the front truss. So all of that stuff, we leave that mount. All of that needs to be cut off, ground down, cleaned up, and then the whole truss welded on. But it's going to be worth it because it will be beefy. It's all 1/4 inch, and then it looks like 3/8 plate welded on the front, so you don't even have to weld to the pumpkin at all, which is nice because that is cast. Time to get started on the front axle. So, since the truss comes the whole way across, we're taking all these mounts off, so probably gonna use the plasma cutter, try and get as close to the axle as I can for minimal grinding, because we've done plenty of that already. I will be leaving this one, which is cast, into here. We do have a new bushing, we'll punch that out. That one is going away because it's 3-link. Same on the other side, take that mount off, and then we'll clean it up and prep it for the truss. And Ryan is still cleaning frame. Day 9, feels like. So for the center section, it comes up and over. So he actually has to clean on the floor there. The rest just gets welded onto the side, so it's not as bad. But yeah, the middle has got a little lip. And that's a clean frame. So not that you have to get it perfect, but this is such a clean Jeep. We were doing a good job, so it lasts a very long time. On that subject, this is the only rust that we've found, which is under the plastic pieces that sit there that everyone hates because that's what they do underneath. Oh, there they are over on the floor. So that is both sides. The only rust that we've been able to find, aside from little bits of surface rust here and there, that's under the bump stops, but it looks good under here for a 26-year-old vehicle. Got all the brackets cut off, minus the lower control arm because I forgot to order lowers from Iron Rock. So we might reuse these. If we do, we will beef them up. Or I might make some new ones out of some 1/4 inch. I'm just leaving them on because I haven't measured because we want them exactly the same. Ryan is done cleaning the frame, so we're just doing some janky business to get it up there on the lift. It is surprisingly tricky to get the Jeep on the lift without using any of the frame and having everything suspended. So I think we've got it figured out. Also have the transmission transfer case supported without touching the ground. That was tricky. The easiest thing would be like a transmission jack or just a 4x4 under there, but we want to be able to go up and down with a lift still for welding and grinding and everything. So it looks a little janky. I promise it's pretty safe, and we can start getting the center section of the frame stiffener on there. Pop the first section in, which is the center. Just holding up by the one stud there, but gives you an idea of what it looks like. So now we have to press up on it basically, clamp it sideways, do everything we can to get the material as close as possible to it. There's some little bends and kinks in there. And then once it's in place, we can go around, trace the outside and all the holes and spot weld locations and everything, and then take it back off and we'll grind away the paint and anything else underneath so we can get a good clean weld. And we want that very clean because this is already thin enough and it's hard enough to weld, especially overhead. So want to make sure that is dialed. As you can see, got some pressure on there with a little bit undersized jack, pushing everything nice and tight. So we're not gonna go too crazy with clamping it or anything because we're just gonna trace the outside and then we can go around and get down to bare metal for welding that. But when we go to weld it, we will definitely put another point here and several clamps along there to make sure it's very tight. Well, there's still some cleanup to do and whatnot, but you can see just getting her mocked up and it is looking good. There's also gussets for the C's, so it's gonna be about as beefy as a Dana 30 can get. It's another day. For you guys, that was seconds. For us, it may have been a few days since we've been back at her. Had a long weekend in there, some distractions, but we are back at it. So, yeah, what are we doing today? I guess it's
prepping up for the unibody stiffeners.
we're pretty close to being able to weld those suckers on.
Yep.
So once we kind of get the final fit, there's going to be hours of welding on very thin metal. So we'll get those all in place, tacked at least, and then I'll be working on that and Ryan can move on to other stuff. Like you can see, we have several clamps and then the 4x4s pushing up with jacks. So everyone knows how to clamp, so we didn't show you that, but I think we are ready to tack it in place at least. So got it as tight as we possibly can. We even kind of notched out some spots to get it even tighter. We're ready to go. All right, got the middle section tacked on there in a bunch of different spots. Now we have the back section clamped on. I'll tack that in place, then we can remove all this. Got the back kind of anchored down with the tractor so that it doesn't lift off the lift here. Then once that's tacked in, those are removed. There's a couple little fill-in pieces that I'll tack in there and we'll be well on our way. Do it all over again on that side and the front. And a bunch more. Well, that concludes a lot of welding. These Iron Rock frame stiffeners are awesome, but they are not for the faint of heart. Now, as you can see, Brian's got that one mostly cleaned up. I'll show you the other side. I will say that if you're doing this just for your bush rig, you could clean up the frame and slap them on a lot quicker than we have. Not caring with little gaps, but the frame was cleaned to perfection and we clamped it on and pressed it, jacked it in every way to get pretty much every piece as tight as we possibly could. And obviously that's gonna be the best results, but you could do it a lot quicker, a lot dirtier, and it would be just as strong. That's kind of what it looks like just after welding. You can see I just stitched along the top, filled all the plugs, bottoms, all that, and then we'll compare that to the other side. There is the finished side. And I mean, if you really wanted, you could get real fancy with that and fill a little bit more weld and grind it down or put body filler in, but it's a frame and it's good. It's gonna be primed and painted. There's the front. She is ready to be wiped down. And then we're gonna seam seal wherever I didn't weld, and prime and paint it. So yeah, that is a ton of welding. It doesn't help that it's like 37 degrees Celsius outside, and welding with the, well, I use the leather apron and the full jacket. So very, very hot, but I just wanted to hammer it out, get it all done. My shirt is soaked with sweat. So that's gonna do it for today. Tomorrow, we're gonna be getting some primer and paint on the frame, and then we can start putting some hard parts back on this thing. All right, I am completely done welding on the Jeep for now until the brackets, but Ryan's continuing grinding, cleaning up the frame, and then eventually priming and painting it. I'm moving on to the front axle and the truss. I just got the oil out of it. I'm gonna clean it up a bit more, pull the ball joints out because we're doing those same time, and then I will start fitting the truss. Oh, and there is the C gussets that are gonna go in. Well, today has been pretty productive. Ryan got the frame totally done. Well, all sanded, cleaned, and primed. 2 coats. So that's gonna dry overnight, and then 2 coats of paint tomorrow morning. Or actually, no, he's gonna seal the seams where I didn't weld, and then 2 coats of paint. I'm staying late tonight because I made some brackets for the lower control arms on the front axle because I was stupid and didn't include them. Hit the little check box from Iron Rock Offroad. So yeah, I whipped some up, being like probably 4 hours. So definitely worth it to just order the builder parts for things like that. So I got those on, and now it is time to fit the truss on there, tack it in place, and get that puppy welded on solid. All right, it is late and I'm calling it quits. Got the C gussets tacked on there. I will have to heat those up and weld them because they're cast, so I'll do that tomorrow. Truss is all in place and tacked. This is the long part, getting everything in place. So tomorrow I can just go through and weld, which I'll bounce all over the place to keep heat all over. But I am dirty, I am tired, and I am heading home. So we'll see you tomorrow. It's the next day. We are only kind of doing a half day today because we were interrupted by doing a truck wheelie, which I think you've probably already seen by now, maybe not. Bit of a fail, but anyways, today Ryan is pulling his out and going to smear it all over the frame. Just doing all the seams between the stitch welds all the way back. He's primed it already, so sealing it now, and then we'll do a couple coats of paint, and that is it for the frame.
As much as I like playing with I'd rather be bolting stuff on.
Yeah, you could do both. I am going to be back on the axle. Got it all tacked in last night. So with my fresh brain today, I'm going to go over it, make sure it's all good, and finish weld it in. The axle is done, so I just have it wrapped in the blanket because the C's are cast. So just let them cool down nice and slow. Ryan has got the frame all painted. 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of black. And Ryan is over here assembling all the joints. What do you call these anyway?
I think they're a flex joint, I think is what they call them.
Yeah, flex joint. These are also from Iron Rock. As you can see, you gotta go around, torque each one, get the right pressure on that ball in the middle. The other end's rubber, so it should be a nice combination of road manners and nice and flexy off-road. It's the next day, and today is a big day. It's Friday. Ryan's just finishing up getting the ends put in the control arms. I'm finishing up cleaning up the front axle and the rear axle to hit them with some paint because they're going back under the Jeep today. That's the goal anyway. After I'm done that, get some paint on, let that dry, I'm going to start installing the cross member, which is a pretty cool piece. It incorporates the control arm mounts with the cross member for the transmission transfer case. And yeah, then we can get the arms in, which means we can get the axles in, and stoked. And also, this is Ryan's last day before going on vacation for the next 4, 5, 6 days. So it would be really cool to get this thing kind of buttoned up so we can see it before he takes off. So you can bolt or weld them, and we are going to do both. You can see 3 bolts there. Had to tap that one, which is already there in the frame. Just had to run a tap in. So 1 lower control arm on the passenger side, and then you've got your lower and upper on the driver's side. So 3-link. We will get the bushings in the end of the springs, and I believe that pushes your back axle back like 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch. So that's cool. Things are looking good. Ryan's just getting the lines all tucked back in because they'll go behind the control arm bracket, which I got this side lightly bolted on, ground the edges because we are bolting and welding. And then we'll get that side on, throw the cross member in to make sure everything works, put these bolts in, and then I can send this puppy home. All right, we are at the part of the program where we can bring this sucker down off of off the pinch weld and back onto the frame. So that is awesome. Dropping it down onto the jack stands, switch it over. That is a big accomplishment. No way. Milestone achieved. Back on the frame rails. So, Ryan is going to put the final coat on the front axle. I am going to work on the spring hangers. These are kind of ovaled out, so I'm going to make some little beefer upper plates, drill a hole in there, notch them around there, and then I'll actually take the welder and fill in this, obviously drill through that, so there'll be less chance of the bolt ovaling it out again, but I'll fill in the bottom with weld and then end up drilling through this hole as kind of a guide, and we'll tighten that back up because right now there's a good 1/8 inch of slop in that. It's another day once again, and I am in the shop solo today because Ryan is on a quick little vacation with his family. Friday was a pretty good day. We got a lot done. We're almost to the point where it's bolting stuff back on. Sunday today, 4 p.m. So I'm just here to put in a few hours. And then, yeah, I've got tomorrow Monday and Tuesday, and Ryan will be back on Wednesday. So gonna try and hammer out some stuff in those couple days, along with splitting the days up with editing, but at least get a few hours in each day so that we can finish this puppy up by Friday. That's the goal. All right, well, that pretty much took me like, maybe 45 seconds. That is drilled new, you can see there. Double layer, cleaned up, just needs some paint, and it's double strong. Those puppies are done, painted, ready to go. So while I wait for those to dry, so that I can hang the leaves, I think we'll get the front axle maybe put in, maybe hung, we'll see. Because I kind of need that cart for the rear axle to get it under the leaves once that happens. And even actually for the leaves, that would help me a lot. All right, got the control arms in and some tie downs on there because there's nothing currently holding the axle up and I want to lift it off this cart. So another big milestone. Kind of sucks Ryan is not here because I know he'd be stoked on seeing this for the first time. But there is a lot of projects coming up. We are running out of time and I know that he would be equally stoked to see this thing on and a lot of things tied up when he gets back from vacation. So let's get this thing off the cart. Woo! Nothing came crashing down, that's good. All right, let's have a closer look. This Iron Rock kit has been pretty sweet so far. As you can tell, some major bends in the control arms. Those are 1/4 inch. So the lowers have the major bend in it, and that's for clearing your tire while turning. And then the upper has a bit of a bend in it, and that's for clearing the floor at full compression. And the ends, it's hard to see, can't really, but they've welded them on at a bit of an angle, like on the end of the threaded bit, to line up everything perfectly. So everything went in very well. Oh, and there is the first leaf pack hung. Oh yeah, I don't think we showed you these guys yet. Ooh. Also, Iron Rock Offroad. Nice little piece. 2 positions. I believe we're going on the big dog. So they're like vertical right now, but obviously once weight is on there, they should be at the perfect position. And these are supposed to ride quite nice. I'm gonna get the other side in and then you can start thinking about putting the back axle under. It's the next day once again because I got called off to another recovery, which we've had several this summer. Anyways, time to pick up where I left off. So getting the rear springs in and throw some paint on the rear axle and get the rear axle up under this thing. Leafs are in, shackles are in, everything's tightened. We can get this puppy hung. So there's new U-bolts and everything. We've got some wedges up here, smaller ones and bigger ones to put there, which obviously tips the axle. So for a double cardan U-joint on the transfer case side, you want the pinion as close to parallel with the drive shaft as possible. But since these are new, I'm not sure what angle it points them at, so I'm just going to attach them for now. And unfortunately, we won't know until it's on the ground at ride height and everything what that angle is going to be like, but not a huge deal to swap that out. So we'll get that strapped up, and then it's over there to work on some front end stuff. Some bumper pieces. I'll explain that. The bumper brackets used to sit right against the frame, and since the frame stiffeners have gone on, they're an 1/8 inch on either side. So now the brackets on the bumper are gonna have to go outside. I'll just go show you. All right, here is his bumper. So these brackets are separate from the actual bumper. So that piece down there is welded and this piece is bolted to it. So it's currently on the inside of those. And since we added the 1/8 inch on the outside of either side, it's going to be too tight here. So we have to move the brackets to the outside of that 1/4 inch piece, which then adds 1/2 inch to each side, because you're on the inside of the 1/4 inch bracket and it'll go to the outside of that 1/4 inch bracket. So it's a 1/2 inch, and we have already added an 1/8. So we need to make up 3/8. So instead of getting 3/8 plate, because it's hard to work with, really thick, I got a chunk of 3/16 that I'll make 2 brackets, or not brackets, but spacers, basically the whole shape of this, that will sandwich in there and make this bumper work again without major modifications and cutting this thing apart and wrecking the powder coat. That's what I'm doing now. So that is what I'm jumping to now over there with the plasma cutter, because got some parts drying there. Painted them up. Those are the plates for the U-bolts. There goes Charlie to eat something of mine. So yeah, that can dry. Let's go cut some parts. All right, so the brackets for the bumper are now complete. So while I wait for those to dry, we'll get back to the axle, which I think I started these because I was waiting for the axle to dry or something. Can't remember now, but while I'm thinking about it, builder parts and time it takes to do things. Companies like Iron Rock Offroad that offer these kits, pre-cut brackets, the different builder parts, especially XJ specific stuff. Some people might think they're expensive, but when you factor in how long it actually takes to make this stuff, they are so cheap. For example, when I ordered the front truss for this axle, it was my screw up. I meant to order the new lower control arm brackets, and we needed them we needed them quicker than they would ship. I made some out of scrap steel, and I'll bet you that probably took me 4 hours to make that. And I had the steel on hand. If I would have had to go down, buy the steel, come back, cut them out, clean them up, weld them together, and them still not be as good as ordering them, yeah, that is a good deal all day. So some stuff it pays to make your own, some stuff it pays to buy, and it depends. If you're busy, you'll get what I mean. If you've got all the time in the world and want to do a hobby thing and build your own stuff, not so much. But man, I sure have appreciated the pre-made parts from Iron Rock on this project. So that being said, I should be ready to hang this axle. Oh right, that's what I was waiting on drying, was those U-bolt plates. So those are good to go. So we can get this puppy up, and then it's gonna start looking like something. Back axle is hung and should be there for good. And having said that, I can probably slap the rear drive shaft in, but I'm going to put the shocks on. And that is the pile over there. Bilsteins, or Bilsteins, or Bilstein, or Bilstein, depending how I say it. Shocks are in and look good. They appear to be perfect length. I had to push it in probably 1.5 inches or so, maybe 2 inches. So it was sitting down about here, so it allows for a bit more droop, which you'll get when that tire is pushed up. It will want to push this down a bit. So that's good. And obviously got lots of compression on there, so those are perfect. I got the drive shaft hooked back up, which as you can see, it's a little bit of an angle there, but that is at full droop. So before I go and put shims in underneath the leafs, we'll get it down on its own weight, because obviously the leafs will compress, it'll push the shackle back, and we'll see if that gets better, worse, or the same, and then go from there. That's not terrible, but like I said earlier, with the double cardan joint up there, you want the pinion and the drive shaft completely parallel. Aside from torquing some things, and if we have to make a change there, it's only e-brake and brake line for this rear end, and that's gonna be complete. So that's a big one. Exhaust, I'm gonna have to change a bit. We cut off the one hanger that was here because it was, I believe, bolted up there and totally rusted out, and it was starting to rust the exhaust. So we'll have to do a new hanger, but I'm holding off on that because we also have the Iron Rock bumper down there on the ground. Well, it's not a bumper yet, it's just a pile of metal, but will be a bumper soon. And so we might want to adjust this because the bumper's pretty low profile, so might end up cutting it back at the joint there and moving it a little closer to the frame. So it exits there. We could come out the side because we will probably be cutting the quarter panel. So we'll leave that for a bit before I install another hanger. So got the steering just kind of placed in there for now, just to check out the angle, see if we'll need the bigger drop pitman arm on there or not, which I'm still not sure because we're nowhere near ride height and all that, but got the rear end done. Front end is mostly done. I'm still wondering if we do some sort of crossover steering, because this is the dumbest idea ever. I don't know why Jeep thought that that was a good thing, going away from just a tie rod and a drag link. But yeah, that's really stupid. I got started on the bumper, pulled the brackets off. So tomorrow morning we can put those wherever they are. Brackets over there, onto here, or onto there, and sandwich this. But we're gonna need to do some modification here because, I'll show you what I meant earlier. The brackets used to be on the inside, and since we added the frame stiffeners, they need to go on the outside now. But they weren't meant to go there, so there's things like, oops, welds on this side that will need to buzz down, or clearance for them here. Same with the end, we'll need to lop a bit off, but that's pretty easy. Bolt it back down with a ridiculous amount of bolts and get that thing back on. And then it's really gonna start looking like yourself again. But I will see you in the morning, where I will be returning with Ryan and he's probably going to be pretty excited to see this because when he left, it was just frame, nothing underneath. So that will be right now. Yeah, got a couple things done.
Hell yeah. Sweet.
All right, it is Wednesday. Ryan wasn't too sad that he wasn't a part of putting those things on. Right now, we're just gonna make a game plan because we want this thing down on the ground, pretty much complete, at least like rolling, driving, testable by Friday. So gonna spend a few minutes, make a game plan that we will just follow to make sure everything is complete, torqued, all that we don't miss anything. And it's gonna be a busy few days. And Charlie is sure to slow things down. Charles, hey, come here. What are you doing? Oh, good boy. Can you finish the Jeep? Finish the Jeep, boy. Go finish it. Quite possibly final assembly on the control arms. We took them out and did their recommendation lengths for eye to eye. They only had 3.5 degrees caster with those measurements. So we did it a bit more to hopefully get closer to 5, ideally over. Caster is how much the axle is tipped back. Camber is the tire in and out. And caster will help with a lot. It basically is what centers your tires if you're going through a corner and let go of the wheel, and helps with handling, and in the Jeep world, it helps a lot with death wobble. So kind of want to get, especially with lifted vehicles, as much caster as you can. But in doing that, you tip the pinion down, which makes your angles on the U-joints worse. So it's kind of finding that happy medium. And then Ryan's gonna just throw some paint around where the shock mounts, because we can get the shock in and mounted, and then this thing's hanging on its own. All right, that is yet another day in the books, and it may feel like we're not getting as much done as we should in a day, and I fully agree. But also, being interrupted for a few hours during the day for recoveries and whatnot takes a big chunk of time. There's also a lot of little things that we're not showing because honestly it's just kind of boring. But I got done mounting the brackets on the bumper, and there's just even little things like that. It takes a long time. Good news is the spacers are going to work, so that's cool. We haven't put it up yet, but according to my calculations, which are often wrong, it's gonna work. And other stuff we didn't show was just like hooking back up the e-brake cables and mounting them back to the frame, and the brake line and the breather and all that stuff. Still gotta do the brake line bracket up here. We're just gonna kind of do it for now, attach it, because eventually we're both kind of thinking we want to redo the brake line. So come off the master, down the frame, and then go soft line onto the top of the control arm and run it down. That's what I did in Large Marge, and it works good with vehicles with a lot of travel, because then at ride height, and especially when you compress, there's not a bunch of brake line coiled up to get in things and snagged on sticks. When you run it down the control arm, it's nice and tidy and would be very hard to damage, especially going through like clear cuts and stuff with lots of sticks, stuff to grab lines. All right, we are back at it. Yeah, Ryan's just grabbing some hardware. I'm gonna get some editing done for a little bit, and then it's gonna be all hands on deck to bolt this thing up and get it back on the ground today. There's a big update. Obviously just got the bumper on, we got the front drive shaft in, all the control arms are torqued, track bar in, drag link on, and everything is looking good. So we are just waiting for bump stops that go on the inside of the coils. That's the only reason we don't have coils in yet. They are supposed to be delivered sometime in the next few hours. So once those are in, we can get the coils in and set this thing down on its own weight. Well, coil springs are in. Now, these are not the ones that came with Iron Rock. We just grabbed these ones like, I don't know, Skyjacker. They're the cheapest ones I could find just to get in there because the Iron Rock ones were back ordered, but just got an email that they came in. So we'll probably be swapping those out soon. Ryan got the wedges put in the back. So the pinion is looking real nice. So we are getting very close to putting some tires on this thing and setting it on the ground for the first time. All right, tires are all on. Everything is pretty much tight. Obviously there's lots of odds and ends left. Winch in, a grill, got to do bump stops, but we need that on the ground to figure that out. Figure out if we need to do rear bump stops, the rear bumper. That's going to be a big project in itself because it's just still a pile of steel over there. And fenders, that's a big one, but for now, our goal was to put it on the ground at the end of the day, and we're ready. That is full weight. Ooh, that looks good.
That's way softer than before.
Yep.
So this will be the telltale side right here. I always used to smack my head there.
Yeah, she's a good bit taller.
Yep.
That's the trouble with not having everything tied up and you let it down, you just want to take it for a rip.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Sweet. I mean, that is a good milestone to end the day on, that's for sure. It's the next day. It's Friday. It's down to the nitty gritty. The Jeep is back up on the lift because Ryan is filling up differentials, torquing things that need to be torqued. Got to attach brake lines, fill the brake lines, put the interior back in. A bunch of little kind of annoying, time-consuming things, but are very necessary. While he's doing that, I'm going to start looking at the rear bumper. Right now it's a big pile of metal, and I need to turn the pile of metal into a bumper. So I'm going to set up over here, peel it apart, see if it makes sense, and build that puzzle. So here is said pile of metal. So I'll peel all this apart. That's looking like the top. So there's some of it obviously bent and ready to go, but just got to put together the puzzle for the rest of it. So here's all the puzzle pieces. Majority of the bumper is made out of 3/16. Brackets and everything. Obviously the toe points are beefy, 1 inch solid. So those aren't going anywhere. Now I just need to figure out where all this stuff goes. Back on the ground, Ryan is currently working on securing the brake lines in the front. The rear is done, and then we will have to add some brake fluid and bleed them. I got the bumper, well, I didn't even get the bumper done, but good portion of it. It's welded and sanded. Got to add a hitch and then mount it. It's just sitting on the cart right now, and add those little trim pieces around the lights. And then a future project will be trimming those. And fenders. And. But the main part, it's almost ready for a test drive. One more day, it'll be ready for a test drive and flex test. It's another day. We are back at it. This will be the last day working on it until it is rolling out of the shop. So by the end of today, it will be rolling out and we'll be doing a flex test. So I came in over the weekend, did a little bit of welding on the rear bumper, which is not there. Ryan's out painting it right now, but was able to get the hitch in the bumper, which took a while just to get it figured out where is going to be perfect and where is strongest and where you can still access the pin, all those things. But I feel like got it pretty good. Obviously show you a better view when it's on. All braced and gusseted in the back. Welded down the sides. Welded down the sides, got some angle iron there holding it on at the top. Obviously grabbing the top and bottom, so that would take a lot to pull that out. For really big pulls, we can still use the toe points there because they are not dependent on the bumper. The bracket goes directly onto those, which goes directly onto the frame. So you're pulling straight off the frame, which is now reinforced with the frame stiffeners. So couple coats of primer on there, some paint, and that will be ready to install also. Brake lines are mounted, brakes are bled, and bumper is painted and in the process of mounting. It looks pretty good. Hitch is in there. But yeah, you can see the sides definitely hang down right there. So that's why guys do the trim there for a little more clearance. So there's some rust there anyway, so we'll be taking care of that at some point, but for now we'll get it mounted up. It is yet another day, but we are not working on Ryan's Jeep today because all we have to do is pull it out. So yesterday we worked on it all day, but ran out of time to be able to pull it out and test it. Plus it started raining, blah, blah, blah. So first thing today, all we have to do, open the garage door, pull this sucker out and test it out. Hopefully it still drives, hopefully it still starts, and hopefully it flexes a lot better than it did before, which I am thinking it will. You ready? Yep. Ryan hasn't even sat in the thing yet, which is killing him. We'll get the door open and yeah, I mean, hopefully she fires up. Oh yeah, fired it up. Oh, I guess I should show you. Can't remember if I did or not, but bumper's on, got the taillight dealios, and off camera, I bumped the exhaust forward because it used to be hanging back there, so didn't really change it, just shortened it, so it can't get crushed anymore. The leaf hangs over. Just picked it down. We still have to cut all those off, and I'll probably turn it out the side so it's completely out of the way, but looks good and it's drivable for now. He'll be bumping up tire size soon, but got some work to do before that still. So all right, see how it looks going into gear. Did the squat like mine does. You throw it into reverse and the whole thing just steers. That's a good sign. We figure, we didn't do a measurement on the fenders, unfortunately, we forgot, but we figure it's about 4 inches taller right now. And it'll come down a bit because fresh springs and fresh everything, so it'll settle probably about 1 inch, but looks good. All right, I'll blow some dust off and then we'll grab the skiddy. Charlie will get in our way and we'll lift this thing up. That's a few weeks of dust from cutting and grinding. Squish test. It did not do that before, that's for sure. So as you can see, the top control arm is damn near flat and the lowers are, man, maybe like 5 degrees. That is awesome. Rears, see leafs, so they're good to go, but Yeah, everything is looking nice. I'd say we're past the stock mount already. Back's getting light. There we go, right there. All right, let's have a measure. So we were gonna measure for bump stop extensions, but turns out we nailed it. There's still about 1 inch of travel on the shock, so that's perfect. Ryan's just under checking out all the clearance for everything back there. Control arms and stuff. This coil is still firmly in there. I think we even have a little bit of down travel on that shock left. So, I mean, this is working sweet. And I will say that is another huge benefit of just kind of buying a kit, because Iron Rock would have gone through all of this and figured everything out. They'd obviously don't want to sell you a kit that you could damage things, but yeah, I'm used to customizing things and this being a big gamble. So this is pretty cool, just welding and bolting things in and have it work. 27.5. Yep.
Hell yeah.
We gained what, almost just shy of 10 inches.
Yep.
Damn. All right, on to the back. Let's see what heard some coil noises. That is tucking hard. Wow, that thing is cranked. Yep, down just a hair. What were we on this one before?
Say 22?
Yes, 22. Well, there's 22 down there.
Probably about the same, 30-ish.
Okay, we get square here. Tire. Well, it's not focusing great for you, but 28.5. Ryan is very stoked. I am very stoked. I think we'll hop in this thing now and take it for a little test drive up the hill just to kind of see how it feels, see how it drives. And then we'll do the shakedown run and a proper test probably this weekend. Ooh, front comes up, put it in drive.
Never used to do that.
Yeah.
Let's just check the brakes.
Oh yeah, we did fully do all the brakes, including new front calipers, so all the lines are empty, so. Stop.
They work a lot better than they did before.
Yeah, clearly forgot to set the drag link and straighten up the steering wheel, but that's easy. So far so good. Definitely some big differences in softness.
Oh yeah.
Just to be expected. So this first corner that we got down here, the right-hander is more than 90 degrees and it's off camber, so in anything soft like my Jeep, it really leans over. I mean, not bad. That feels better than my Jeep going around there.
Yep.
Which I guess springs in the back still. Acts as your like quasi sway bar.
Yep.
I mean, it rides smooth. Yeah, like little bumps in the road and you're at 30 pounds.
Yep.
30 pounds on the 32s still, and it's noticeable for me only riding in it the once with the last lift. There's these little sealed joints and stuff on the road.
That would have been a big clunk before.
Yeah, oh, that's quite smooth.
Yep, absolutely.
And we'll go down here. You can grab the skiddy and all passenger side, drive it up top. So that's good. So just, yeah, drive it like this. So I can just back out and go up like so.
You want to stick?
Drive and stick. this might do. Yeah.
I got an axe back there. Better handle.
Probably safer, yeah. Alright, my choice of driving stick today is a Fister's axe. Pretty standard stuff around here. And only because it's too much work to get over this center console to just go up top. And there's a side-by-side up there that I'll transfer into and get some outside shots of this thing. I guess I get the first experience of it on dirt too. Go across the cattle guard, not on the flat spots. See how it likes that. A lot better than before. I mean, hard tires, but soaked it up. Lots of little bumps in the driveway right now too. Oh yeah. This is way better than the last kit. Made it. Would have lifted a tire before, that's for sure. Sweet. I'm gonna want to follow him off-roading to watch that booty flex. It's a different machine. So good. Just driving over everything in sight. Freaking madman. That is a happy guy.
Wouldn't have been able to do that before.
No, would have been lifting a tire for sure. You might as well pop it up over that landing there.
Yep. So what were you saying? Just fast enough and it pops it over?
Oh yeah, smooth. It's coming at me. Yep. Bet you can't wait to go wheeling.
Oh yeah.
Well, gonna consider that a huge success.
Yeah. Oh man. Like night and day difference.
Yeah, that's always nice when you do something, especially when you spend a bunch of time and
Yep.
it's
Like,
night and day better.
The body stiffeners, you can feel it. It's not creaking,
Right.
and cracking,
Yeah.
and whining. Everything is stiff and rigid.
Yeah.
The lift kit in itself is soft, forgiving, but drivable.
Yep.
And that's without the sway bar connected.
Yeah. Can just tell by looking at the angles of everything. It's
Yep.
where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it is. It's so far very happy.
Well, that is going to do it for now for Ryan's XJ build. Huge shout out to Iron Rock Offroad. They helped us out a bit with the pricing for all the components. So that is very much appreciated. And now that I've used it and we tested it out, I can definitely, using it loosely, stand behind their product and confidently say that it is good quality and that you will not be disappointed ordering it for your Jeep. But the next time you are gonna see this thing, it's gonna be out on the trail, and we are very excited to do that. It's only in a few days' time. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure that you are subscribed, leave a comment. It all helps. We're trying to grow the channel. We'll see you on the next one. And then there's this guy. Comes and bites our ankles and licks our face and tires himself out. Hey, you didn't help very much on this build, Charlie.